Welcome to EDUC 683 Practicum in Reading. I'm your instructor, Carrie Schultz. Just to let you know a little bit about me, I've been teaching for almost 20 years now. I've taught at the elementary level and have been a Title I teacher. Currently, I'm the 6th grade reading teacher at West Salem Middle School, a town outside of La Crosse, Wisconsin. I teach 150 or so 6th graders. This is all the 6th graders in our school. We're pretty special in the sense that our middle school provides a reading class as well as an English class. So my focus is mainly on reading and word work or vocabulary, whereas English focuses on writing and grammar. I do have an RTI time daily with about 10 struggling students identified as Tier 2 students, and also have time where I work with a Tier 3 student. I'm teaching during the school day, the same as many of you. I have been with Viterbo for about 3 years now. On Moodle, I've included my cell phone number and email. Please contact me with any questions you may have. My commitment is to respond within 24 hours during the week and 48 hours on the weekends and holidays. If you have questions that you feel would address the concerns of other learners in this course, I have included a forum entitled General Questions for Carrie on our Moodle page. The course officially begins on October 24th, about a week and a half from this presentation. Your tutoring and completion of the case study is due by the end of the course, December 16th at 5 p.m. Here I have listed the important dates to note for indicating your plan on October 28th. So that's your practicum plan. You have bi-weekly check-ins on November 7th, 21st, and December 5th. And of course, the culminating assignment, the case study, December 16th. In this presentation, I will provide information on each of these activities, as well as outlining the practicum expectations and case study. First is your practicum plan, which is due October 28th. I would like to know your intentions for the practicum. By October 28th, please have a plan in place for this experience. Indicate the students you will be working with, the formal assessments you will be using as data points to start with, and this may be whatever the student's district has in place. It's best to contact the reading specialist or other contact people to obtain this information. For example, these could be the state Badger exam scores, MAP scores, or STAR scores for the students you will be working with. Please check out the practicum plan form so you know what is needed. On Moodle, you will find a section for forms and other information about the practicum and case study. The first form, the case study format, has a ton of information to collect on your tutoring student. Please look at this at the beginning of your tutoring. It is recommended that you provide learning and reading surveys to get to know your tutoring student best. Much of this will be collected in your pre-assessment sessions, but some will need to be collected by contacting the parent, reading specialist, instructional coach, or classroom teacher of your student. It also provides information on the assessments to be used. Please note the highlighted areas as areas of importance. The cover page lists all the necessary documents that need to be turned in for your case study, and this will be your case study's cover page. The comparison report includes the informal assessments used pre- and post-tutoring. You do only have a short time with these students. Immense growth is not expected. However, the experience should provide indications of what works for the student in areas in which they can further be supported. There is a lesson plan template provided for you to use. Feel free to make yourself something similar to these plans if you like. However, make sure that your plans have all the same components. You do not need to have these computerized. You may handwrite them if that is easier for you, but be sure that you can scan or mail those to me with your case study. The daily lessons should have a fluency, word work, and comprehension component with a balance of expository and narrative text, as well as short 1 or 2 sentence reflections on each daily tutoring session. There is a miscue analysis provided to help you analyze your work. The conference report, or parent report, is a summary of the tutoring experience that you would share with the student's parents and other educators working with a student. Please note that this has been filled in with information as an example. You will need to erase the information and replace it with information about your student and the assessments, observations, and recommendations for further support. Lastly, you will find the practicum consent. This is one that you will need to have ready when setting up your tutoring students and sessions. This needs to be provided and agreed to by the parent or guardian of your student before tutoring begins and also turned in at the end of this experience. Practicum information. For your practicum, you need to choose 2 students. They must be at least 3 grades apart. One of them should be an elementary age student, K through 5th grade, and the other one should be a middle school or high school age student, someone from grades 6 through 12. So for example, you can't choose a 5th grader and a 6th grader. They're going to be too close in their deficits and their needs, and you won't really get a whole experience in this practicum. So make sure that your students are definitely different aged and will need different experiences. You should have 15 sessions for each student with a minimum of 30 minutes working with each. 3 of those sessions will be for pre-assessments and 3 will be for post-assessments. You will need to use a QRI as one of those assessments and another assessment of your choice. It could be the NAMES test, it could be some kind of phonemic awareness assessment, it could be the San Diego Quick assessment, those things that you've learned about and explored in your 529 course. 9 of those sessions, whatever you use for your pre-assessment, you should use the same assessment as your post-assessment so that you can do that analyzing and comparing of results. 9 of those sessions will be your tutoring sessions, where you'll be working with the student and working on those 3 components, so comprehension, fluency, and word work. Make sure that you have a balance of fiction and nonfiction, expository, and narrative for each of those. Every day you should do an informal running record after day 1. Day 1 is where you will do more of a formal running record on the student. These should be included in the plans as well. Many students have already asked me about using a program. You do not need to go out and purchase a program, but if you have a program that you are available to use, you're more than willing, you can go ahead and use that. However, you can also just use best practices as your instruction for those students. Bi-weekly, I will be asking that you check in with what you're doing with your tutoring sessions and your students in forums. These forums will be on November 7th, 21st, and December 5th. And I ask that you provide me a short synopsis of what you've been doing by 11:15 p.m. I will open these up on the Thursday before those due dates so that you have plenty of time to just pop in and let me know what you are doing with your student. These are just very brief check-ins to ensure that you're making progress with your tutoring students. I need a few quick sentences about each student you're working with, the point you're at, any successes or failures that you're encountering. The final assignment, the case study. Here's a final case study. I encourage you to refer to the rubric when completing all paperwork for the case study. Only one of your 2 students will need to have a case study completed on them. And this student is completely up to you. It is your choice. All the paperwork and forms should focus on analyzing the tutoring student and be turned in at the end of this experience. The final case study is due December 16th at 5 p.m. If you would like me to check over any of your case study, please have it ready a week in advance before the final due date, and I will provide feedback. This feedback will not be a close scrutiny of all of your work, but I will check to make sure that all your pieces are in place that you need to turn in as the culminating experience. Let me know if you need any assistance or have any questions. Email and phone calls will be answered within 24 hours during the week and 48 hours over the weekend. Good luck, and feel free to contact me with anything that you need.